If you've ever set up an EC2 instance on AWS, then you've already used a VPC or a virtual private cloud. It's the virtual networking environment on AWS that manages pretty much everything we do with networking. The configuration of the VPC determines how we can connect different pieces of our infrastructure together and how we can connect those pieces to the public internet. In this video, I'll explain what a VPC is, and I'll show you how to set up a VPC with both public and private subnets. Let's say you want to host a web application in the cloud. You'll have a load balancer, some EC2 instances running your web application, a database, and maybe an S3 bucket for file storage. Before you set up any infrastructure, it's a good practice to set up a custom VPC for your project. This is an entire private network, so we specify the private IP address range that we will use within the VPC. Then inside the VPC, we create subnets with their own private IP CIDR blocks. The VPC is placed within a region, and each subnet is placed within an availability zone. Then we can deploy EC2 instances or other compute services on these subnets. Each resource can be assigned a private IP address, and by default, all resources within the VPC can communicate with each other, even across different availability zones. It works just as you would expect a private network to work. But by default, a VPC is completely private. Resources within a VPC can communicate with each other, but there's no access to other VPCs or access to the public internet. This is great for security, but terrible for a web app where we need users to connect to our application over the public internet. Within a VPC, we can use other services to allow other types of networking. The most common is an internet gateway, which allows open networking on the public internet. So we can attach an internet gateway to some of the subnets, these will be public subnets, to allow connections over the public internet, but we can keep some of our subnets private. So in this case, the load balancer could be on the public subnets, but the database and the application instances are all on private subnets, with no way of communicating with the outside world directly. This adds a really nice extra layer of security. This does also mean that I can't simply log into one of the private instances using SSH, because there's no way of directly connecting to them over the public internet. If resources need to remain private on private subnets, but also need to communicate with other things outside of the VPC, there are other services we can use, like an S3 gateway to connect privately to S3 buckets, or a NAT gateway to allow connections out of the private subnet without allowing public access to that subnet. So I'm going to set up a VPC with a public and a private subnet, and I'll deploy an EC2 instance running Nginx to the public subnet and a node application to an instance on the private subnet. So I won't be able to connect directly to my node application, but I will be able to connect to my Nginx instance, and then that can forward traffic to my private instance. And for my Nginx instance, I'll set that up from scratch, but for my private application instance running that node application, I already have an AMI set up for it right here, and it's a node app that connects to an S3 bucket and kind of mimics Dropbox in a really simplified way, so I should be able to upload files and see those files from this web app. So in AWS, first I need to go to the VPC console and create a new VPC. And by default, there is already one VPC set up in each region, and this is the default VPC that you just get with your Amazon account when you create it. And the default VPCs are really just here so you can start deploying things easily and testing things, but they're not that great in production because they are completely open, they all have internet gateways, and anything you deploy will be accessible over the public internet. And you can look at the different settings of the default VPC, but right now we just want to create a brand new VPC. So I'm going to click that Create VPC button and name this VPC. So this is for my file application, so I guess I'll call this like my files app VPC, I don't know. And then we need to provide an IPv4 CIDR block. So this is going to be the private network address range that we can use within this VPC. And you'll generally want to use one of the private IP address ranges, so 10.0 or 172.31 or 192.68. And this is very similar to normal private networking with a few minor differences because it is all managed by AWS. And one of those is the net mask we can use. So if I wanted to use the 10.0.0.0 range, the minimum net mask I can supply here is 16. Although usually if I was setting up a private network like this, I could supply 8 here, but in AWS, the minimum number is 16. And I don't want to get too much into networking here, but the 16 here is saying that the first 16 bits will be preserved, and then anything after that, so these 16 bits will be variable, so we have 2 to the power of 16 different IP addresses that we can use within this VPC. We'll leave the rest of the settings as the default settings and create this VPC, and that's it. We now have a VPC with no subnets, so we can't do anything with it. So the next step is to actually create some subnets. And like I said, I'm going to create one public subnet and one private subnet. Generally, though, you would want more subnets than this for your applications. You'd want both public and private subnets across different availability zones for redundancy, but we'll just create 2 right now. So I'm going to select my custom VPC here. I'll first create the public subnet 1. And we can select the availability zone here, which can be nice if you want to make sure you distribute across all of them. So I might just select 2A for this. And then we have the CIDR block for this subnet within the VPC. So it must start now with 10.0 because that's my VPC CIDR block. And then we can specify any subnet range within that. To keep things simple, I'm just going to go 1.0/24. Since 24 of these bits are preserved, that's just these 3 numbers. And this number can be variable within this subnet. So I will get 2 to the power of 8 IP addresses, which is 255. Some of those will be used by AWS. So I think 5 of them are used, maybe, so it might be 250 different IP addresses, which is more than enough for this case. And that is all I'm going to do for this, so I'll create that subnet, and then I'll do the exact same thing again. So I'll select my custom VPC, private subnet 1, and then I got to choose a different private IP range, so I'll just go .2.0/24 and create that subnet. Great, so now I have 2 subnets on my custom VPC, one that's going to be private and one that's going to be public. And this is actually enough right now that I could go and create a new EC2 instance. So right now I'm going to go create my new EC2 instance that will run my Nginx server, and we'll put that on the public subnet. So I'm going to launch a new instance, and for this I'll use Amazon Linux 2. I'll do it on a T2 micro. And then here is where we configure the VPC that we're using. So by default, it will select the default VPC, but I now have my custom VPC, so I'll select that. It's going to go on the public subnet that I just created. By default, it won't give this a public IP address, but I want to enable a public IP address because this is going to be connected to over the public internet. And then everything else I'm going to leave blank right now. If you wanted to, you could modify the network interfaces and assign a private IP manually, but I'm just going to let AWS do that for me. So I'll go to add storage, that's fine. Add tags, that's fine. Security group, I'm going to create a new security group here, and I'll call this public load balancer. And I want to be able to SSH onto this instance, and I want to be able to connect through HTTP, because this is going to be an HTTP server. So that looks good to me. Review and launch, and then I'll launch this instance with my current key pair. So kind of a normal configuration, but I'm using my custom VPC now. And this is on a public subnet. So I'm just going to change this name to be load balancer. And once this is set up, I should be able to log onto the instance using SSH, install Nginx, and actually connect to this over HTTP. But remember, everything in a VPC is private by default. So I have no way of connecting to this instance in the VPC. And I can show you that right now. If I go to connect and copy what I need to SSH from the SSH client, it will not even be able to try and connect to this instance because my VPC is not allowing any access to the public internet. So in order to do that, we need to set up an internet gateway. So I'm going to go back to my VPC. And there's a few steps in setting up an internet gateway. It's a little bit more complex than it probably should be. So pay attention to all the steps here. The first thing I'm going to do is find the internet gateway. Where is it? There it is, internet gateway. And this is the internet gateway that is attached to the default VPC. So we need to create one for the custom VPC. So I'll just call this my file app internet gateway. I think that's the name I'm going with. So I'll create this internet gateway. Once that's created, I need to attach this to my VPC. So I'll select my custom VPC there and attach the gateway. So there's 2 steps there already. The next thing is to create a route table. And a route table is the thing within the VPC that manages where traffic goes. And there's one already set up by default. If I look at my public subnet, I'll be able to see that it is connected to the default route table, and this is what is allowing traffic to flow between the different subnets within this VPC. So by default, there's a route table. It will allow private networking, but what I need to do now is create a new route table to allow connections to the public internet. So in the left bar here, I need to select route tables, and I can see the default route table for the default VPC and my custom VPC, but I'm going to create a new route table now, and I'll call it my file app public route table, and select my file app VPC and create the route table. Now within this route table, I need to add a new route or edit these routes. So by default, it will allow networking on the private subnets within the VPC. I'm going to add a route to say that any other address that the instances try to connect to can be forwarded to the internet gateway. So I'll select internet gateway and select the internet gateway that I just made. And this will now allow connections to and from the public internet for any subnet that is using this route table. So I'll save the changes. I now have that route table set up. And then I have to go to my subnets, and I'm going to go to my public subnet and go to the route tables tab and edit the route table association, because I need all my public subnets, any subnets that I want to be public in this VPC, to use my public route table instead of the default one, and click save. And now anything that exists on the public subnet should have access to the public internet. So if I go back to my terminal window and try to SSH onto that instance, I now have access to that instance. My private subnet is still completely private, but my public subnet is now public on the internet. So I'm going to start by installing Nginx on this instance. And I'm going to start Nginx, sudo systemctl start Nginx. And now I should be able to connect to this locally. There we go. So from the instance, I can connect to it. And if I visit the public IP address, so if I go back to my EC2 instance, select my load balancer and try to connect to this in my web browser, I should get that Nginx landing page. So this instance is set up, it's working, and I can connect to it over the public internet. The next thing I want to do is set up an instance on the private network. So I'm going to go to my AMIs because I already have this file app set up, and I'm going to launch this, but in the private subnet. So T2 micro is good. We'll configure the instance details. Again, this is going to go on my files app VPC. The subnet is going to be the private subnet. I'm not going to have a public IP address because I just can't connect to this over the public internet anyway. And then that's pretty much it, actually. I'll just go to next, add storage, next, add tags. In the security group, I'm going to create a new one for this application. So private app, probably a good enough name. I don't need SSH. What I want to allow is a TCP connection, custom TCP. This is a Node app that's running on port 8080. And the source, I only want to allow connections from within my VPC. So I'm going to select 10.0.0.0/16. Or I could go one step further and say that the only thing that can connect to this instance is something from my public subnet. So I could say 124 here, and then that would only allow connections from the public subnet. But I'm going to leave this to anything on the VPC is allowed to connect to this thing. So we'll review and launch. Launch, I don't need a key pair. And this instance should, in a minute, be completely set up. So I'm going to give this a name. I'll call this a private app instance. And this doesn't have a public IP address, but it does have this private IP address right here. And this is one of the addresses that could be assigned on that private subnet with the CIDR block that I supplied. I can't connect to this instance over the public internet, but any instance on this VPC can still connect to anything else that's on the VPC. So although I can't SSH onto that instance, I can't actually connect to the web app. Since this terminal window that I've got open right now is logged in to an instance on the VPC, this instance can connect to my other instance, my other private instance. So if I try and curl the IP address at port 8080, It probably won't work just yet because it's still being set up, but in a minute, once the instance has set up, once the application is launched, I should be able to connect to that private instance from my public instance. So the app has finished setting up, so now if I curl its private IP address at port 8080, I get all of the HTML that I need for that page. So again, this instance is completely private to the outside world, but I can connect to it from other instances on the same VPC. So since I have Nginx installed, I'm just going to set this up as a reverse proxy so it accepts traffic over the public internet and forwards that traffic to my application which is running on my private instance. So I'll modify the Nginx configuration file. I'm just going to replace this server block with a custom block that will forward traffic to my private IP address at port 8080, and I have other videos on how to set up Nginx like this, so I will leave a link to those in the description, but this should be enough now. So if I save this file and restart Nginx, if we now go back to this page and I refresh, it should now be forwarding it onto my private node application. So it's just there as the reverse proxy. And this node app, like I said, is just set up to read files and write files to an S3 bucket. So if I click on this view files link, I'm going to get an error right now because this instance is on the private subnet. It can't connect to anything. It can't connect to S3 buckets or any services on the public internet. And this is great for security. Nothing can connect directly to this instance and mess with my application. But it does also mean that I can't access an S3 bucket in this case, which is really inconvenient. So I have my public subnet, which can be accessed over the public internet, and it can access things over the internet. So I could install Nginx because my instance could connect to things on the internet. Then I have my private instance, which is completely private. Nothing can connect to it unless it's on the same VPC and it connects to it over the private network. So this is great for security because a hacker can't actually connect directly to any instances running on my private subnet. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how you can connect to other services and the internet from a private subnet.